My name is Thiago Porto Ribeiro. I'm a qualified lawyer in Brazil, and I have recently passed the QLTS assessments, and I'm now a qualified solicitor in England and Wales. I have graduated from Milton Campos Law School in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, in 2011, which is one of the most well-regarded law schools in Brazil. After that, I started to work in a boutique law firm in Belo Horizonte as well, which is the mining hub of the country. And in that firm, I worked with corporate law and also mining law. In the end of 2012, I went to London to take my LLM at UCL, University College London, and I've taken corporate law modules, notably corporate finance, mergers and acquisition, international finance, and corporate governance. I got merit in my LLM, and after the LLM, I went back to Brazil to work in São Paulo in a big law firm, where I've worked mostly with corporate law. After all these experiences, I decided to take a step forward and to take the QLTS assessments. I always wanted to be an international lawyer and to pursue an international career. And we all know that London is the financial center of the world, and that most of the transactions are based on English law. Also, I always wanted to keep my connection, my link with London and the UK, especially after living there for a year during the Masters. And I think becoming a solicitor and the QLTS fosters all these needs and objectives that I'm looking for. Since I come from civil law jurisdictions, many of the subjects comprised in the syllabus were strange to me. I had some knowledge on business law due to the LLM, but I wasn't aware of many of the other subjects, like for example, equity, trusts, European Union law, and I found English property law very difficult. And it wasn't just me, many other students had some issues with English property law. And so I really needed a preparation course to take the assessments and to be confident on the exam days. As regards the QLTS school, a friend of mine was taking the course and she really recommended it to me. I've read some reviews online which were also very positive, and at the end I decided to take the course, and it went well. I think my experiences with QLTS school were very positive. The material of the course covers the whole syllabus in a very easy and simple way to study. I think particularly the mock questions and the mock exams were very helpful to me, and they really determined the final result. The staff of QLTS school, they are also very helpful. They are there for you whenever you need. And the tutor, she was very well prepared, and she gave me some very interesting remarks that helped me pass the oral and written part exams of the OSCE part. I really enjoyed the books that were prepared for the MCT, which is the multiple choice test. I think they were very complete. They covered all the areas of knowledge that were assessed, and at the same time they were very clear for the students. But in my opinion, the most beneficial aspect of the whole course were the mock questions for the MCT and the mock exams for the OSCE part, because I think they give you the real feeling of what to find during the exam, on the exam day. And they prepare you not only regarding the content that is assessed, but also the psychological part, which I think is very important especially on the OSCE part, since you have the oral exam, the written exams, and that pressure that you get. So it's very important to be confident, and by taking the mocks in advance, you get more prepared for the exam day. For the MCT, since I was working at the time, I used to study 3 hours a day during weekdays. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and study up to 8:30, and then go to work. And on the weekends, I used to study at least 6 or 7 hours each day. And I've studied for 5 months for the MCT. For the OSCE part, I had decided to leave my job and to focus on the exam. So I had 3 months of intensive study, which I studied at least 8 hours a day, both on weekdays and weekends. And on the last month, I studied even more intensively. So I used to study at least 12 hours a day in order to cover the whole syllabus and also to try the mock exams. I think I've never felt really 100% prepared for exam throughout my whole life. And you always think that you should have studied more, you should have covered this or that. And it's not a personal thing, because everybody tells me the same. But the QLTS preparation course really prepares you well for all the assessments, and it gives you confidence. So as soon as you enter in the exam venue, and as soon as you start your assessment, you really feel positive, and you know how to answer all the questions that are provided. At the moment, I'm looking for job opportunities in London, and in the meantime, I act as the general counsel of my family company, where I help the company in all the legal matters that they need. I think the QLTS has broadened my job opportunities because now I have access as a skilled worker to the UK market, which is one of the wealthiest countries in the world, and especially to the London market, which is London could be the most vibrant city in the planet. And since there aren't many Brazilians with the qualification of solicitor in England and Wales, being qualified as a solicitor is really an asset to my CV. Students really need preparation for the MCT and the OSCE exams. Of course, the level of preparation will vary depending on whether you have studied English law before, or if you come from a common law background. But if you come from a civil law jurisdiction, as I do, you definitely need some preparation, some extra preparation for the exams. Firstly, because, as you know, the syllabus is very vast, and it covers many areas of law, many of them which are very strange to civil law lawyers. And also because you have to be confident and prepared for the exam. So you, especially in the oral and written exams, in the OSCE part, where you cannot hesitate. And if you do hesitate, it will adversely affect your results. So you have to be, it's really important to be fully prepared and fully confident on the exam day. Well, if you're thinking about taking the exams, I would highly recommend you to take it. And whereas if you're already studying for the QLTS exams, I would recommend you to separate a proper amount of time to the mock questions that are provided in the MCT course and in the mock exams which are provided in the OSCE course. I think the mocks, they really give you a feeling of what you're going to get in the proper exams. And if you know the whole syllabus and you don't know how to apply that knowledge in the real questions, it will be harder for you to succeed. So I think, of course, it's important to read everything, but you shouldn't keep doing only that. You should also prepare yourself using the mock exams, which are the best aspect of the course, I would say. And regarding the time for preparation, I think 4 to 5 months would be ideal for each phase of the exam. And of course that would depend if you're working or not. So if you're working and you're not able to dedicate exclusively to the exams, you would need 2 or 3 months more. But the important thing is to prepare yourself in advance. Of course, each and every person has their own way of studying. So if you're not confident to take the exam, you can take it in the future. The important thing is to feel confident and prepared for the exam. I would recommend the QLTS for every person that is seeking career growth, especially those pursuing an international career. And as we said before, London is the financial center of the world, and most of the transactions are based on English law. So becoming a solicitor by means of the QLTS provides you access to all these opportunities. The most important skill for a modern lawyer would be the ability to manage time, since nowadays things are happening faster and faster. So I remember my father used to say that in the past, in order to send a message to Japan, for example, you would need a week for the message to arrive there. And nowadays it arrives in a second and you get the answer immediately. So in this modern world that everything happens so fast in order to provide a quality service, with all these demands that are coming everywhere at any time, you really need to manage your time. Another important skill would be to understand the business of your client and the needs of your client. And I say that because many lawyers, they sometimes only focus on legal technicalities, and they forget the business of the client or what the client is needing at that moment. So I really think that to understand what your client wants is an important skill that can set you apart from other lawyers.